Which Detroit team is the worst defensively? The Tigers, the Lions, the Red Wings, or the Pistons?
Well, based on current sample sizes, I think we have to go with the Pistons.
Yes.
I mean, at least the Lions put a decent half or two together of defense. Have not seen it from the Pistons at all. And we knew that was going to be the case, but every game, 115 or 120 points.
They've given up over the three losses, over 120, 124, and 130. The game they did win, they gave up less than 100.
I mean, Dwayne Casey went to great pains to explain this was going to be the major growing pain when you have a young, talented team. It's just learning to play defense. But, oh, my goodness. How long does it take to fix a defense in the NBA? I mean, I really think it takes a while, doesn't it?
Especially when they know it. I mean, you knew it going into training camp, and I know they have a couple of guys. It's really absurd watching them play defense.
It's not as easy, though. They can't just fix it by, going out and drafting, a Rodrigo or something, right?
Right, yes. Well, there's not 6 rounds in the NBA draft, so.
That's a good point.
Do you think the improvements over let's just call it last week, and maybe you could say 2 weeks, do you think the improvements for the Lions defense are sustainable?
Well, I will say this. To a certain degree, yes, because it wasn't just more personnel coming in, like Pascal and Kirby Joseph playing a bigger role, but it was also schematic with them finally putting Aiden Hutchinson where he needed to be. I mean, you could just see the joy in Hutchinson's face after that game I felt like, and he talked about that, I feel like I'm where I can do the best, the biggest damage, where I'm most comfortable. So in that regard, yeah, it wasn't like just one player out of nowhere had a great game. And that I think Aaron Glenn used that bye week. Last year, the Lions used the bye week and sort of fixed their offense to a certain degree, if you recall. This year, they used the bye week and completely fixed the defense. All right, not completely. But the adjustments I like. Sustainable, I mean, I guess to a certain degree, but I wouldn't put Stoney's bank account on it, that's for sure.
No. Final thing with
the Mattress Mac.
Yeah. Oh, my. Exactly. That guy's going to make a fortune.
Yeah.
Final thing about the Lions. I'm not asking you what you think she would do. I'm just asking you this. If for some reason the Lions end up with the same win total or maybe one more, 3 or 4 games, would you bring Dan Campbell back for year 3?
Same win total or 1 or 3 or 4? Depending on how those games went, because I'm assuming they would probably show a little bit of improvement if they win 3 more games going forward. I probably would, but it's not set in stone at all. I mean, everything is on the table now,
right,
for sure. But the one thing that I just keep going back to, and I know people think it's a cop-up, but it's not, is you just can't keep changing coaches. You just can't. I mean, until they reach the point of no return like they got with Matt Patricia. And I'm not saying, give him time, give him plenty of time. But the mandate given to him this was long-term. This was a long view. We're not even going to use one of our first-round picks for a player this year, technically, with Jameson Williams. So unless it completely falls apart, you wouldn't be happy about it. He'd be on notice, but I suppose I would. And I actually think, not that you asked, that Sheila would bring him back as well.
So the question then becomes, all right, is the roster a lot better than when he inherited it? And, I mean, my opinion is I wouldn't say a lot better, but it is better. And your results remain the same. Isn't this a results-based business?
Yes, it is. But you also have the results from Brad Holmes. So if you're talking about Campbell, are you talking about also moving on from Brad Holmes? The difference in my regard is the roster is better from a talent standpoint, but a young talent standpoint. There have been pretty good draft picks, and Pascal looks like he might be pretty good. The problem is, and again, this is where I think they're going to give them another year because they're just being honest with themselves. They didn't do anything to get better this year, personnel-wise.
Right, except for the draft.
Right.
Except for, literally nothing. Like DJ Sharp, like somebody needs to tell Brad Holmes, no one needs to can do anybody else's job, but tell him to stop signing free agent wide receivers or pick it, because he's missed on every single one. DJ Shark, Rashad Perriman, who is the guy that came last year and never played, Trinity Benson, everyone has failed. Meanwhile, he can find them in the draft to a certain degree. So
yes.
Everything was done with a long view, and you can say, oh, boy, so patient. Well, no, if you're just judging Dan Campbell, he was giving no veteran upgrades anywhere.